disturbing details are coming to light about accused Jeffrey Epstein's secret storage lockers. We've talked about this before, but now we're talking pornography, lab results, slave manuals, and by the way, the most chilling of all, it is reported these storage units were never searched by authorities. We may now have an idea about all this material that was stored in at least one unit.
I was on the plane and I was like looking around to make sure no one was looking at me.
Right. Do you remember who was in it?
No.
He's not saying.
Okay.
What if the scariest thing in the Epstein saga isn't what's been found, but what might have been moved, locked up, and never properly examined? And why is the internet suddenly stapling Ellen, Justin Bieber, and a royal location into one messy, trending conspiracy thread? Tonight, we're not confirming anything. We're dissecting what's documented, what's rumored, and what's straight-up fanfiction with a microphone. So, let's set the stage, because this is the kind of story the internet chews up like popcorn and then asks for seconds. You've got Jeffrey Epstein, already a name that doesn't just ring alarm bells, it kicks the door down. And just when you think there's nothing left to shock anyone, new reporting and document chatter brings back one of the creepiest angles of the entire saga. The stuff that wasn't in the mansion when the raid happened. The computers that were suddenly gone. The boxes that allegedly moved before law enforcement could get there. The where did it all go? Question that never really stops haunting this case. And that's the first ingredient in the viral recipe, missing evidence. Because when people hear items removed before a raid, they don't think, oh, that's an administrative detail. No. They think blackmail. They think lists. They think recordings. They think names that were never supposed to be said out loud. Now here's where it gets messy. Because the moment the public smells a gap in the official story, the internet doesn't wait for facts to walk in wearing a suit. The internet builds a whole cinematic universe in 5 minutes, complete with villains, plot twists, and a season finale that somehow ends at a royal gate. And that's where this particular rumor cyclone comes in. Because floating around in the loudest corners of social media is this alleged connection chain people keep repeating like it's a math equation. Epstein storage mystery plus celebrity power circles plus royal scandal history equals insert trending name here. And one of the names getting dragged into that mess is Ellen DeGeneres. Now pause. Breathe. Before anyone hyperventilates into their keyboard, Ellen has not been charged with anything in Epstein's case. There's no courtroom headline saying she's guilty of anything. But that has never stopped the internet. Not once. The internet does not need a judge. It needs a vibe. And Ellen already has controversy fuel sitting in the tank, right? The public reputation shift, the workplace stories, the nice on-camera, scary off-camera narrative that became its own genre of content. So when you combine an already polarizing celebrity with the most notorious scandal magnet of the modern era, people don't ask, is this true? They ask, wait, could it be?
Said she was mean, and I was maybe thinking that's one of the reasons she left.
No, I think being mean is a good boundary, you know?
If you work for a strong woman, you should expect to be a little bit.
I don't call it a...
Especially when you're a strong woman in film, she's running a big production. Like, obviously, if one of the interns doesn't get coffee on time, you're gonna have to just splash a bit of it on them just to sort of send a message.
Then comes the second ingredient, Justin Bieber. Because the Bieber angle isn't even about secret tunnels or spy movies. It's about something way more uncomfortable, old clips, old interviews, uncomfortable moments from when he was young, resurfacing again and again. People looking back at early fame footage with today's eyes and going, why did adults talk to him like that? Why did nobody step in? How is that normalized? And yes, Ellen's show was one of the biggest platforms young Bieber appeared on during that era. That's a fact. A huge show, huge access, huge audience. And in conspiracy logic, proximity starts acting like proof, even when it isn't. And then, because this story apparently needed an extra scoop of chaos, the third ingredient gets thrown in, a royal location. Because Epstein's documented association with Prince Andrew turned the word royal into gasoline in any Epstein-related conversation. So the moment people see celebrity circles overlapping with UK ties, countryside properties, London whispers, palace-adjacent headlines, suddenly every move becomes a sign, every trip becomes escape, and every coincidence becomes confirmation. And right there, right at that intersection of missing evidence, resurfaced Bieber discomfort clips, and royal scandal history, this whole narrative mutates into something bigger than facts. It becomes a machine. And once that machine starts rolling, the next part is always the same. The receipts people claim exist, the threads that swear they've seen something, and the anonymous insiders, who conveniently can't be named, which is exactly where we're going next.
And his Hollywood elite circle have been exposed as cannibals. Not rumours, not whispers. Hard evidence from the files. Babies in fridges. Jerky as code. Rituals that will make your blood run cold.
Because once the machine wants receipts, it doesn't mean receipts like a court exhibit. It means screenshots of a blurry paragraph that someone's cousin allegedly archived before it mysteriously vanished. And the more unreadable it is, the more people swear it's real. Because if you can't verify it, you also can't disprove it, right? Welcome to the internet's favorite sport, competitive speculation. So here's what happens next in this kind of story. A thread pops up claiming there was a safe file, a locker dump, a vault cache, whatever dramatic noun is trending, and it supposedly contains emails that point toward a media power broker, a young superstar, and a royal adjacent location. And immediately, people don't ask, where's the original file? They ask, why isn't mainstream media covering this? Which is funny, because if mainstream media covered every viral rumor, the evening news would just be a 24-hour live stream of comment sections arguing with themselves. Then the anonymous source phase begins.
Fresh, unredacted 2026 Epstein file dumps deliver the gut punch confirmation. Ellen ate her ex-partner Anne Heche, piece by cursed piece, after the actress was eliminated in that blatantly suspicious car crash, while she was closing in.
And when you'll see captions like, "My friend works near the investigation," or "I can't say how I know this, but," which is basically the online equivalent of "trust me, bro," but with mood lighting. And these sources always describe the same fantasy: hidden warehouses, sealed storage units, names blacked out, and a list so powerful it would collapse institutions. And it's always framed like a thriller. They didn't want you to see this. And that's where the Ellen angle gets dragged in again. Because when the public already has a mean boss narrative, it becomes easy for rumor culture to turn that into power player. Not evidence, just escalation. 1 minute it's, she was harsh. Next minute it's, she must be connected. The logic is basically, famous plus disliked plus vaguely adjacent to other famous people equals guilty of something huge. That's not investigation. That's fan fiction with a grudge. Now layer in the Bieber clips. People rewatch old footage and they're genuinely disturbed, and honestly, some of that discomfort is fair. A lot of early pop culture treated teen stars like public property. Boundaries got laughed at. Awkward questions got normalized. And when people feel late-stage guilt about that, they go hunting for someone to blame. Not a system. Not industry culture. A person. A single villain. Preferably one whose name trends well in a thumbnail. So the rumor machine goes. Who had access? Who provided the platform? Who was around? And suddenly the conversation slides from "this was inappropriate" to "this was a pipeline." Again, not because proof shows up, but because the story is emotionally satisfying. It explains everything. It packages discomfort into a neat narrative with a bow on top. And then comes the royal seasoning. Because once royal is in the sentence, the imagination triples in budget. People start painting scenes in their head: black cars, private estates, locked gates, old money rooms, quiet deals. You can practically hear the dramatic string music. It's not even about what's true. It's about what feels like it could be true in a world where powerful circles overlap.